Today's video will immerse you in the most mysterious country of the Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabia. The secrets of its traditions and extraordinarily strict laws will impress adventure and mystery enthusiasts. Why does this country attract those who crave a better life? And how has polygamy become a part of its culture? And the tense moment of my video will be the story of a terrifying ritual that is practiced here today: capital punishment. Let's delve into the mysteries of Asia. Getting to know Saudi Arabia. At the beginning of my video, let's briefly familiarize ourselves with this country. Saudi Arabia is a large kingdom located in the west of the Asian continent. The country has a history that dates back 2,800 years, since the emergence of the first state formations in this territory. The capital of Saudi Arabia is one of the largest cities in the world, Riyadh. It covers an area of more than 762 square miles. Saudi Arabia has a desert climate with high temperatures and minimal rainfall. The winter here is not very cold and pleasant. The temperature in winter months can drop to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad, right? But summer is hot and rainless, with temperatures reaching 122 degrees Fahrenheit, which is too much. The country is a key state in the Muslim world. It is the place where Mecca is located, where Muslims from different countries come as pilgrims. Islam is the state religion and is closely linked to local culture and customs. In Saudi Arabia, where Sharia law is applied, religion has a full influence. It is important to remember that the residents of this country perform prayers 5 times a day, during which restaurants, shops, and other service points are closed. This is one of the few countries where absolute monarchy exists. The king holds all power and is the head of the government. The main part of Saudi Arabia's economy is based on oil extraction and export. It is estimated that about 30% of the world's oil reserves are located underground in this country. The kingdom is a member of OPEC and is a leading producer and exporter of black gold. In addition, the government actively seeks to diversify the economy and develop other sectors such as tourism, entertainment, and financial services. Why emigrate to Saudi Arabia? And now I will tell you why many people dreaming of a better life immigrate to Saudi Arabia to fulfill their dreams. This is especially relevant for young people who have just finished their education and are looking for job opportunities. There are plenty of vacancies in various fields here, making the labor market worthy and promising. Factors such as the financial well-being of the country also influence this choice. And it's not surprising, as the economy of this country is in good condition due to the dominance of oil. This ensures stability and prosperity, making it an attractive place to live. But it's not just the economic benefits that attract people to this country. Saudi Arabia is rich in cultural heritage and unique traditions that amaze and inspire many. Overall, the kingdom represents a promising country with excellent prospects for career growth and a unique cultural experience. It's no wonder that many people choose this country for their future. And if you also dream of a better life and are interested in culture and history, then Saudi Arabia may be your ideal place to live. Islamic culture and Sharia laws. And now let's find out how traditional Islamic rules, norms, and religious duties play an important role in the lives of people in this country. Islamic rituals form the basis of citizens' way of life, and the principles of Sharia are the basis of its legal system. For decades, Saudis have interpreted their religion more conservatively than anywhere else. As a result, the country's cultural values often influenced how laws were applied. I was surprised that men and women who were not relatives could not interact with each other, and life was scheduled around the 5 daily prayers. In addition, women were required to wear black outer clothing, called abaya, and cover their hair in public. Many also covered their faces. It's great that some of these restrictions were lifted from 2017. As the visions of the head of state for a more modern, local residents report that people of different genders can now work more freely together and even go to the cinema and sports matches together. And imagine, in 2018, a cinema was opened in Riyadh for the first time in 40 years. Women can now drive and rent cars and be free to move without the mandatory accompaniment of a male guardian. And the religious police, which monitors social interactions and stopped long-haired men and women wearing too short abayas, have been stripped of their authority. And now the religious police officers are no longer able to arrest suspects who violate Sharia norms. Now they just have to report such violators to the regular police or the anti-drug department. Strange decision, isn't it? One thing is unclear: how it is related to this police unit. Moral police officers are obliged to fulfill their duties aimed at maintaining spiritual purity and preventing vice through kind and gentle guidance. That's where it's all about, I think. Strange laws. Yet in Saudi Arabia, there are still some strange and unusual laws that have amazed and baffled me. Here are just a few examples of such laws. All types of alcoholic beverages are prohibited in Saudi Arabia, both for local residents and foreign citizens. It seems that water could pass for the strongest alcohol in this country. So, if you decide to throw a party in Saudi Arabia, don't forget to prepare a cocktail of mineral water with a slice of lemon. Everything else is strictly prohibited there. Possession, production, or sale of alcohol can lead to serious punishments, including imprisonment. I was shocked to learn that in 2014, the Saudi Arabian government sentenced a British citizen living in the country to 350 lashes for violating the law on possession of homemade wine. However, a year later, after international intervention, the 74-year-old man was released. Another strange law is that public displays of personal affection, such as holding hands or kissing, are prohibited in the country. This is considered an unacceptable violation of social norms. And what they do on February 14th is completely beyond my understanding. There are also legislative restrictions on visiting entertainment venues. For example, nightclubs are banned, and organizing concerts may require special permission. In the kingdom, communal services are available to everyone, but those who intentionally damage them will be punished. The law prohibits illegal connections of any structures to utilities. This entails punishment, regardless of whether the offender caused the damage or was an accomplice to the violation. The law states that anyone attempting to damage communal services faces a fine and imprisonment for 2 years. People who cause damage or help others do so will be punished. In the summer months of 2022, a law was introduced prohibiting work at noon. A fine was imposed for each violation. The ban came into effect from 3 p.m. for 3 months. The ban applied to all companies and establishments. There is also a law on child protection that prohibits children from participating in entertainment activities that endanger their safety or health. It's tough in the kingdom for those who engage in financial schemes online. They can face up to 3 years in prison and hefty fines. And labor legislation stipulates that no foreign worker with a criminal past can be hired. These laws reflect the conservative social structural norms and religious customs that dominate in Saudi Arabia. However, in recent years, the country has begun a process of change and liberalization. Family values. It is also important to know that family values play an important role in the lives of Saudis. They are manifested in traditional Saudi weddings, which can last for several days and include many rituals and traditions. It is important to note that young families were supposed to set up their home not far from their parents. Therefore, in cities there are often entire neighborhoods consisting of relatives. In such a hot climate, this is very advantageous. You don't have to go far, and you're always welcome in any nearby home. But still, Saudi Arabia has some specific requirements and costs for family life and people who have immigrated there. They are called expatriates. In particular, according to a law introduced in July 2017, foreign workers residing in the country with their families must pay $110 per month for each family member as a dependent fee. This fee is charged to alleviate some of the living and service burdens for Saudis. Unfortunately, this requirement is exclusively for expatriates. In my opinion, the Arabian Bedouins have arranged things quite nicely. This dependent fee has become an additional burden for workers, especially if they have a large number of dependents in the family. However, this requirement is part of Saudi Arabia's legislation, which seeks to more carefully control the influx of foreign workers. Overall, family values play an important role in the lives of Saudis and are an integral part of their culture and traditions. They help maintain unity and solidarity in society and strengthen ties between generations. Despite some restrictions, the family remains the center of life for many Saudis and is a source of support and love. Polygamy. Despite the strong influence of family values, there are still certain restrictions for women in Saudi Arabia. For example, women do not have the right to marry without the consent of a man. Additionally, polygamy is a private but not prohibited practice. Saudi Arabia is one of the few countries in the world where polygamy is still practiced in accordance with religious and traditional beliefs. The majority of citizens adhere to Islam, and for this reason, justification for polygamy lies in the division, to a certain extent, of religious martial obligations and responsibilities. According to the Quran and Islamic laws, a man has the right to have up to 4 wives, provided of course that he can provide adequate care and manage all the associated family duties. However, it is worth noting that in modern Saudi Arabia, the practice of polygamy has become less common. This is due to a number of social and economic factors, such as the increased cost of family life, the larger size of families, individualistic preferences, and changes in social norms. A very small number of men currently choose to enter into polygamous marriages. Family status is of great importance in the country, and existing legislation strictly regulates this sphere. Marriage laws protect the rights of each wife, safeguarding their property and ensuring equality before the law. Every step in the formation of a marriage, including its registration, requires the consent of all existing wives. Polygamy continues to spark discussion and debates in Saudi society, reflecting a blend of religious, cultural, and social factors that influence attitudes towards this issue. Thus, polygamy continues to function as an area that requires consideration and understanding of various perspectives, as well as harmonization with society. Death penalty. Saudi Arabia is also renowned for its strict law enforcement norms, including the use of the death penalty. In Saudi jurisprudence, the death penalty is one of the strictest and most common forms of punishment for various crimes, including murder, rape, drug offenses, child abuse, treason, and terrorism. Executions in Saudi Arabia are carried out by court order and can be performed by various methods, including beheading with a sword in a public place. These executions usually occur based on official religious and legal interpretations of Islam. According to official information, in 2023, the Saudi Arabian government executed 170 people. However, in recent years, the state has come under international pressure regarding the use of the death penalty. Critics of executions argue that such severe punishment contradicts human rights and is sometimes applied to individuals convicted for political activities or other serious crimes that did not harm others. Despite international pressure, the government continues to use the death penalty as a means of punishment and upholds the traditions and social-cultural norms of the country. It is important to note that the correctness and legality of the death penalty in Saudi Arabia are the subject of international human rights discussions. Public execution. What does this very execution in a public place look like? I think many are interested in this question. Here's how eyewitnesses describe this gruesome ritual. At noon, in the central square of Old Riyadh, a crowd of about 60 people gathered to witness the execution. The prayer at the main mosque in the city had just ended, and people were waiting for the execution to be carried out. The executioner held a sharp sword and raised it above the head of the condemned, who was dressed in white attire, leaving only the neck exposed. The executioner steps back and consults with the victim of the criminal sentenced to death. The brief consultation ends, and the executioner returns to his work. He pauses, then slowly lowers the sword, allowing the condemned to feel the cold steel on his skin. Then, the fatal blow, which severed the neck, and blood gushed like a fountain on the granite square. Afterward, 2 men come out to retrieve the body and head. One of them takes the head by a piece of fabric in which it was wrapped. Then, they loudly read out the list of crimes for which the condemned was sentenced to death. After the execution, only a cleaner remains in the square, washing away the bloody granite with water from a hose. Finale. Immersing oneself in the world of Saudi Arabia leaves a mark on the heart of anyone who dares to look at this country through the lens of its traditions and laws. Its mystery, allure, and strictness leave no one indifferent. And while many may not fully embrace all aspects of this culture and way of life, It cannot be denied that this country holds secrets and mysteries that can only be guessed at. Watch my next videos to continue exploring the marveling diversity of our world.